Thank you for being here, Elaine, and congratulations on being a finalist for the Exceptional Women of Peace Award. Your work is phenomenal, and we're so absolutely delighted to be able to learn more about you and your work. So to begin with, please tell us your name, your location, where do you live, and where do you do your work?
Well, first of all, Tez, it's a great honor to be chosen as one of your exceptional women of peace. I am Elaine Parke from West Virginia, USA. However, my 12 monthly Habits of Peace journey actually began in Pennsylvania in 1993 when I founded the nonprofit All of Us Incorporated. All of Us is a global initiative that uses an organic monthly action system of 12 peace attributes to inspire individuals and communities to practice peace. They include values like kindness, generosity, gratitude, patience, conflict resolution, and of course, climate stewardship. You can see them here behind me on my background. Every month has its own color. In 2007, supported by Rotary, my work became international. I went to post-genocide Rwanda and Africa to teach my 12 peace habits to support Rwanda's then national motto, never again.
Beautiful. So tell us a little bit more about that work and what difference it makes.
Well, if you have 2 or 3 hours, but my work, the 12 monthly habits of peace and unity, began actually, Tez, as a vision back in 1987 when I was volunteering with at-risk youth. At the time, I was working as a vice president of marketing in corporations, and I had the ability then to influence millions of people with just a small staff. The contrast really lit a fire in me to use my expertise to expand my influence for good, from just helping one person at a time to reaching more. So the vision, with the light and everything that I had, was that all over the world, we use months to divide our year into 12 30-day cycles, and that it takes about a month to build a habit. So I envisioned that each month could be focused on one of 12 peace messages that all together would build a habit forming pathway to peace. So we're 30 years and 9 university studies later, we have proven that this system works. In fact, the 12 peace habits were recognized as a social invention by the London Institute for Social Inventions. My work underscores Aristotle, who said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not just a single act, but a habit.
Mhm.
Without the 12 peace habits climate, we're overwhelmed by negativity. But in reality, there is so much good and positivity. But because most good messaging is fragmented, it doesn't gain the large scale traction needed to create change toward peace, at least not so far. In 2022, I authored The 12 Habits of Unity, which is a book that offers daily, and I call these motivationals, to encourage the practice and the focused soul consciousness of each of the 12 monthly habits of peace. When individuals who read my book, people in schools, communities, or even entire countries like Rwanda, embrace the messaging of the 12 peace habits, it nourishes the hearts and the minds of everyone. Peace flourishes within each person and then bubbles up and outward. How do I know this? Because 9 studies over 30 years that investigated the influence of the 12 habits say so. In 2003, one study of 14,000 students and their communities was conducted by the University of Pittsburgh. It concluded that 85% of the students who'd been in the 12 habit climate for just a couple of years developed a more caring and respectful attitude toward others. Just think about that. Out of the thousands of surveys, and here's where I get a little teary, one young person's comment stole my heart because it perfectly captures the transformation that happens when peace takes root in one person's life. They said, "I am now nice to the people I used to be mean to." When we influence the many who were mean, who were once mean, to become kind, that's what truly defines a path toward peace. That's the goal.
Beautiful. So, Elaine, how do you define peace? And then, if you'd like to tell us a little bit more about what your personal source of this amazing dedication you have to peace, where that comes from.
Well, for me, and it's a little different, peace has always been about a bubble up approach rather than trickling down. It's about nurturing peace values. That's what puts peace in action and attributes at the grassroots so that they sort of naturally spread and create a broader culture of peace. Organized media messaging is consistent and relatively inexpensive and could truly spread peace worldwide. So, one of the 12 peace values is the habit for March to resolve conflicts. So, kind of go with me for a minute and imagine that if for the entire month of March, all over the world, there were short media messages in every media, every language, in every country, just simply encouraging people to resolve their conflicts. Just think of a world with messaging everywhere to resolve conflicts for a month. The data we already have is evidence that this will work. The source of my dedication to peace was forged in the fire of a deeply abusive childhood, probably not unlike many of us. It left me determined to help ensure that fewer children have to endure the kind of pain I did. I have dedicated myself to peace work for 72 years, starting at age 11 when I volunteered with the Red Cross. At 19, while a student at Northwestern University, I taught conflict resolution to young gang members in Chicago. By the time I was 30, I was part of a nuclear disarmament protest group that performed an allegorical play called Alice in Blunderland, satirizing the Cold War tension between Russia and the United States. Alongside 20 other families, we performed at the Capitol during the 1980 Zero Freeze Rally in Washington, D.C., and in over 300 communities across northeastern United States.
Wonderful.
One of the best parts of my story is that in 2001, the Rotary Club of Pittsburgh discovered the 12 Peace Habits and adopted them as their youth project in 3 inner city schools. Each month, and this was so fun, we provided colorful messaging materials like posters and bookmarks, and they went into the schools, and even pencils for the kids. And the Rotarians personally visited classrooms and shared the monthly message with the students. Then in 2006, at Rotary's International Conference, Rwandan Rotarians discovered the 12 peace habits and decided that they were just perfect to instill peace in post-genocide Rwandan youth.
Mhm.
Supported by the National Unity, and I always have trouble saying this, Reconciliation Commission, and by Rotary International, I went to Rwanda for 3 weeks to train headmasters. It was a great highlight of my life, bringing peace while surrounded by so much love and hope that shone through their pain.
So, Elaine, there's so much of your work to be proud of. And what, if anything more, would you want others to know about you and your work for peace?
I thought you'd never ask that question. And I do want you to ask me about my definition of peace too. I forgot that.
You can add that at any point.
Oh no, what I'm most proud of. That's the part I want to add.
Yes.
So you asked what you're most proud of, and I have an odd answer to that, and that's why I want to share it. Because I'm actually most proud that throughout all these years, it's really been the 12 peace habits taking center stage and not me.
Mhm.
You see, the proven positive changes, I mean, I could never have reached 14,000 kids. The proven positive changes have always been driven by the 12 monthly messages themselves. So I've just been happy to support them from behind the scenes.
Wonderful. And so, in closing, what do you want others to know about you and your work for peace that you haven't yet had an opportunity to tell us?
Well, that's the question I want to answer. I want people, here's what I want people to know, that these 12 habits, they're so easy, and that anyone can easily take part in the 12 monthly peace habits. When we all focus on the same peace habit at the same time, just like we do with holidays, we're all doing it at the same time, the strength of peace will grow among us, leading to more joyful and fulfilling lives. And so, together, as the old Nike slogan says, I'm saying we can just do it. Now, at 83, I've just started partnering with another peace advocate from Maine on a much needed and this time USA targeted project called Grandmothers Unite, MACA. Make America Kind Again. Something that will likely be welcomed by the rest of the world as well. Everyone who wears a MACA hat becomes a beacon of kindness and peace. I also continue to lead our Masterminding Peace in Action circles, recently introduced to Rotary International at their 2025 conference in Canada. My passion for peace, if you haven't noticed, is as strong as ever. And I'm committed to turning the global tide from division and war to unity and peace, one person and one monthly peace habit at a time. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Elaine. You and your work are clearly exceptional. So thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing yourself and your work with us.